Today at Essential Partners, we're going to be talking about the I Am Magnetic book, the second book from Desiree Mangangdog. And her first one was the I Am Fabulous, and most of you have been through that class here at our house. But the I Am Magnetic is fairly new, and there's a couple of us that have gone through the I Am Magnetic, or at least parts of it. I'm the latecomer to the group in regards to that. So I've invited Summer Olson. Welcome, Summer.
Hello. Hello. Good morning.
And I have invited Andy Tippy.
Hello.
Hello, Andy. And
Hello.
if each of y'all would like to say a little bit about yourselves. I know I'm posting each of your the Essential Me videos just so people remember the classes that you've taught here before. But if you just give us a brief introduction about yourself.
Well, yes, my name is Summer, and I'm a friend of Tina's. I live in the same neighborhood as her. I am a yoga meditation teacher, and I just love the oils. I'm a mom and a wife, and just raising a teenager. I love the series. It was very positive. It brought out a lot of interesting things that I needed to hear. So it was awesome. So thank you for having me, Tina. It's been a while since we've done something, and yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome. Andy?
So I'm Andy, and I was actually roommates with Tina in college, and I do. Oh, I'm sorry. Like 5 years ago, you know.
Yeah.
And I do vibrational healing. It's something called light running. And the intention behind the light running is just to help us clear up our reactions to what's going on in our lives so we can feel more peaceful. And in the work that I've done with the light running, my intuition has gotten pretty clear. And I'll tell you, the I Am Magnetic, you can tell that I've used my book. Mine's not nearly as pristine as Tina's. But anyway, I had some like pretty crazy stuff that I'm kind of excited to kind of chat and share and just kind of see that progression of going through this and other ways that I've kind of used this stuff. So yeah, so that's what I do.
Just to get us warmed up, just so you ladies know what we're doing here for the class is we've got a group coming in that I'm going to go through the Wheel of Life and the Values Compass in the first class. And then we'll save the exercise with money separate. So we're going to go through the Don't Want cleanse, and then we're going to find our value compass during this class. So that's going to be the focus of what we're going to do this weekend, actually this Sunday. And so I don't want you to give away the ending. So don't tell us what your 3 compass items are, but maybe a little bit of your journey with let's start with the Don't Want, that exercise that is in the book.
Yeah. I got the book at the convention and probably started doing it. So that was back in September of 2019. And I think I started doing the book maybe in end of October, probably almost positively. And one of the things that I did, had to have been like the end of October. So I sat down and I did the Don't Want dump. And what you do when you're doing the don't want dump is you're actually diffusing these oils. So I sat down and I did that. And it was pretty liberating, but I will tell you that I did it a second time, probably a couple weeks later, 2 weeks later, with a group of girlfriends. And we all sat there, and there was something about the collective energy of the 3 of us sitting there with that intention that gave, I think, all of us permission to like not just spend the 20 minutes or whatever I did the first time, but we probably did it for an hour, taking breaks and sitting there and chatting for a minute and dumping some more. And that was pretty profound. Like that was the one that really, like the first time was really great. It was, you know, if you had asked me right afterwards, it would have been like, oh, that's amazing. But doing it with that group of girlfriends was just like, boom. It just let so much more come in. I think just having that collective energy and that supportive energy, because we were all very caring and loving and supportive towards each other. And I think that made the big difference. So that was my experience. It was really huge.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
I can see that happening. It's like when you bring women together that you can trust, the trust
Mhm.
circle is very important. So much can be lifted.
Mhm.
And I have that experience with people all the time outside of this project.
I have to
But
tell
I
you
can,
guys, I'm getting chills right now,
yeah,
Mhm.
all over
I,
my body.
I think it's great you're doing it in a group, Tina, because I did it by myself, which I have that ability to go deep. I've been doing it for a long time. Just the healing process and the shedding and we're in winter, so it is the time to kind of turn inward, de-shed and get ready to bloom for spring. So I liked the timing of doing this just recently in this season. Um, and I did a lot of it outdoors. I'm more free and out of the space. Like I'm I probably should have done this video outside. It's so beautiful and kind of gray today in Arizona. Um, but I am in my special space. So it was very freeing for me because I chose to do it in the sun, and then if I was too warm, I went into the shade, but I was completely out in nature. So I felt like that part of it helps me open up.
I love that.
Thank
Nice.
you.
So I did mine a little different. I did mine with my husband and my daughter. Um, and the only thing I really found interesting in that was that in the don't want, my daughter's putting one word in each space that I have on the exercise. And my husband's putting short phrases, and I'm doing sentences.
Yes.
So we all had a different way of dumping that. We all had a different way of describing what we don't want.
That's
Very cool.
fascinating. I totally forgot you were going to do that. And I think that would be really fantastic because my girls are teens as well. They're 14 and 16, almost 15 and 17. And to sit down with the three of us and do that would be probably pretty cool. And
Yes,
yeah. And they
I
could probably really
agree.
use it. Yeah.
And did you guys have any of the side effects that were listed in the book?
Um,
I
you go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Andy. Okay. I had a few, but I was very aware of it. And I think just we're just humans. We're living busy lives. We're raising teens. We're moving and shaking. Not too much, no, but I did a lot of self love and self caring through the process. I think it's important to kind of keep that mindset when you're doing something as open as this, as that you need to give yourself a little bit more attention, like a bath. Obviously, I do a lot of yoga, so I meditate every day. So I added in some extra meditation and some extra self-care work as I was going through it. They're so good to kind of recenter us and take time for us, and I had very minimal side effects because just knowing myself. But as someone that's new to something like this, I'd be open to it. Like, just understand that it is going to come, and just give yourself a little bit extra compassion and that self-care and self-love.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because it was kind of daunting to look at the list.
Yes.
And my daughter even said, "Are you sure you want me to do this?"
That's
Oh, she's so cute.
But I know when I was done with it, I felt dizzy, a little lightheaded getting up. And then later I had a roaming pain. Like it would be a little pain on my left ankle, and then it went to my right neck, and then it went to like my middle finger on my tip of my middle finger on my right hand, and then it was done.
Oh, wow.
mm, that's
I
So
can
it was
see
just kind
that.
of like it kind of bounced a little bit, and then it was over. So I don't know, but yeah, it did have something in regards to random pain and dizziness, and
really just loving yourself,
Hmm.
ultimately what's underneath it all. And so
Hmm.
that would sort of fit. So
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
You, yeah, a lot of things are in the heart. I
Mm,
mean, it's like where you could be as balanced as you want to in all the other chakras, but when it comes to the heart, we're all working on self-love, that compassion, forgiveness, grieving.
Yeah.
It's like I haven't met one person that's not attached to the heart, like that needs that work. So I love that. Yes.
Well, another side effect that I've noticed just through the week, because we did it, I think Sunday morning. So it's been, 5, 6 days. And one other thing that I've noticed is people have come out of the woodwork to come and address things with me. So good things, I mean, just like it's been a great relief valve that people have been
Oh,
coming and talking about different things that they needed to get out.
Yeah.
oh, that's
Oh, that's
awesome.
cool. That's really cool. Yeah. I think I should ask my girlfriends. I don't think I ever asked my girlfriends what their side effects were. A lot of relief of just like, oh, so I felt probably a little tired. I'm just trying to feel back into it because it was just, it was way back in October, early November when we did it. And I can remember that sort of sense of dizziness. I mean, I do quite a bit of deep inner work as well. And so I'm familiar with a lot of these side effects. So they don't throw me. I think that if I were to give somebody that was brand new to this, any advice, I would say just allow what comes up to come up without needing to judge it or fix it or freak out about it. Any of that kind of stuff, just allow it to just be there. But I think just relaxing into it and knowing that dizziness or discomfort or even like grief. I mean, I remember feeling kind of this sort of weight on my chest before I did it the second time with my girlfriends, because that brings you to kind of a vulnerable space, and just recognizing that that's okay. You don't have to like be like, what do I need to do to fix this weight? You can just allow it to be there, write your stuff out, and just kind of watch as it maybe dissipates or shifts or changes or whatever it needs to do, because it may get heavier depending on what you're going through. But just sort of accepting any of the side effects. Whether I didn't experience a ton later on in the book, we can talk about that another time.
Right.
I had some pretty major stuff come up.
Yes, I did as well, Andy, and it's interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
but it was clearing and needed to happen.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
So quickly after the don't want cleanse, right? Then we came into the values compass. And how have you guys used your compass once you figured it out?
I really liked this part. I mean, just the breaking down, you can't really predict I couldn't predict what I was going to end up with. You're just, you're breaking it down, you're breaking it down, you're breaking it down. And I was a little surprised by two of them. I knew. I was like, yeah, I see that. I couldn't predict it, but at the end I was like, okay, yeah. But one I was a little surprised at, because it went deep. Like it went deep. It's brought from childhood for sure, like that value. But I've used it when making decisions. Like I'm in the place now where I'm having to make some business decisions. When I'm making decisions, I take my time. Like I have to meditate on something quite a while. Sometimes I have to drive my husband nuts talking about it a little too much. But I've been going back to the values. Like, does this decision support each of these? Like, because this is my authentic path. This is what it came down to. So it's really, when people make decisions, they can get a little frazzled. It's natural, a lot of things on the mind, but it's helped me ground a little even more. Like I've obviously been doing this work for a long time, but yeah, I actually have a whole day of making decisions today. And I'm just going back to, okay, does this support my core values? Because if it doesn't, it's not something I think I should be doing. I need to find another way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Glad it's become such a great tool for you.
It's a very powerful tool. Definitely. Yep.
For me, I wouldn't have picked my 3 either. I know you said you'd pick 2 of yours, But was even more surprising was what my daughter and my husband got.
Mm,
I could have probably picked one out of each of those, but not the other two. That
wow.
totally threw me. And so, but it gave me insight into what they need. And what was interesting for us is that, like, on in your list of 10, we probably would have had a lot more in common than we do in our list of 3. None of us have the same word.
Mm,
Oh,
But in our
wow.
list of 10, we do. So we can get close, but when it comes right down to it, we are very, very different.
yeah. Wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty fascinating. This makes me want to do it with my girls even more.
I
So,
know, me
so
too.
in terms of the don't want dump to the values piece, what was the time? Did you do them that same day? Did you do
We did
them?
them that same morning. Those 2 the same morning. We haven't done the money one yet.
Yeah. And so
Well,
doing them back to back felt like it was
It was comfortable because doing the don't want dump, was probably in the
spaced.
range of about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But then the values took maybe another 30
Okay.
to nail it down. And it was fresh what we didn't want. So then we were anxious to get into what we do want.
Oh, good
I
point.
love that. I mean, that is,
Yeah.
talk about bringing a family together. It's like learning your child's, like child whisperer, like their husband's love language. It's even going even deeper so you can support their path because, we're mothers and
Yeah.
part of our, interesting. Awesome.
I've done so I actually created a worksheet for my client to figure out their values, because one of the things that I find is so many times with my clients and with myself, because clearly they're just kind of my mirrors. They show me the parts of myself I'm not aware of. Anyway, with my clients and myself, we look at things and 1 minute we have like, my value is blah blah blah, and then fear comes up and suddenly it flip-flops over, and now I've got, my value is this, and it's coming from a place of fear. And so when we have that lack of clarity around our values, we can drive our choices and our decisions and desires based on whatever happens to be up in the moment, whether it's clarity or fear or grief or whatever it happens to be. And so by getting really clear myself on what my values are, that helped me make a lot of decisions. And I did that based on some stuff that I had found on the internet. And it was good because it really, really helped me recognize where I wanted to go with my, with my focus and my clarity. But when I started doing this book, it's like so radically different from anything I've ever done, that
I
the
agree.
words that came up, like you said, like shocked me. They really surprised me. And plus the way that she puts them onto kind of this like overlapping circles to create this sort of sweet spot in the middle was kind of like, boom, just
Right.
mind blowing. It was super duper cool. And I will say, I'll be really honest. So I sat down and I made because I have like that artistic side. So I made a really pretty like little compass and I put it next to my bed, and then slowly I put other like affirmations over it and other things. So I use it from time to time, but not as often as I would like to. And it's one of those things that I think I'd like to put it up in a couple different places because I want to refer to it and go back to it. There are times I do that for sure, but not as many times as I would like, because they sort of slip out of the mind and I go back into my old patterns. And that's fine, because I'm learning that those old patterns aren't supporting me, so I can move into my new patterns. So yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, to close it out, is there anything you would leave the class this Sunday? Any advice for them? I know we want them to open up and have a great experience. So is there anything that you would suggest to help them in doing that?
Yeah, I just got chills like all the way down because I know there's some people that are going to be there that I'm just sending a ton of love over this group you're going to have. I'm just like wow, it's like really strong in me right now. And just know that I'm going to be sending you that energy for healing. I know a lot of you are healing. You know, it's like we're all healing in some way. Um, I just definitely want to encourage you to love yourself immensely. Um, don't judge yourself. Try, you know, non-judgment. You're doing this for better, for to be better. You know, to find your authentic side, and it it's okay to get emotional. It's okay to release. And I just know that this is going to impact you in a very positive way. So as you're releasing, remember that it's for the positive, and just keep that light over you. Where you're just keep the most loving things around you. If you're not into if something jars you, remove it, like put it in the closet, or just try to create a safe space for you while you're in this healing and growing pattern. And yeah, love, love, love.
I will definitely let the group know you send your love.
Thank you.
I think for me, when I did it, and I think that when I did it, I wrote everything down, and it's really easy to go back through and like sort of freak out or obsess about the things that you're wanting to let go of, because it feels really big. But the truth is, they have probably an underlying core, and that's really what your intentions are of letting go of. It's not really about the individual things. And so when I did mine, I wrote them all down, I glanced at it quickly, and then I put it aside. Now, it might be kind of fun to hold on to it, to kind of, and I haven't done this, which would be actually kind of fun to do, to go back and look at it a month or 3 months or 6 months from now, rather than sitting there and obsessing about it. So my suggestion would be, as Summer said, to be gentle and super kind and understanding for yourself. Write down everything, put it down with the intention of really letting it go, and then put it to the side without obsessing about it, and then move on to whatever the next piece is, because there's no need to obsess about it. There's no need. Right. You're letting it go. You're putting it down. You're letting it go. Boom. That's it. But that gentleness and that kindness and just allowing what comes up to come up without any judgment is so critical. Yeah.
Well, I thank you guys for all your wisdom, and I hope this helps the class that's coming in Sunday to understand what they're getting into. But and I hope that they are open. I hope they are kind to themselves. And I hope they can dig deep, because that's the only way it's going to change their life. And my only concern, knowing the world that we live in, is that people are going to try to manipulate what goes into those circles instead of truly feeling what needs to be in those circles.
So critical.
So thank you both for joining me this morning.